Hey everybody, Sneaky Narcotic, back at it again with another YouTube video. And today we were going to go over some more Throne of Eldraine spoilers from the spoiler season. So today we had quite the amount of spoilers to go over. I would like to mention, as you can see from the background of this video has quite the support for Knights. So just if you're a big fan of Knights and a big fan of Magic the Gathering and a big fan of Throne of Eldraine, stay tuned. I would also like you to like, share, and subscribe. I've recently come to 82 subscribers. Pretty proud, honestly. 82 doesn't sound like a big number, but really is in my heart. I would like to say at 100 subscribers, if I can get 100 subscribers by the time the spoiler season ends, I have a very special announcement to make at the end of spoiler season. So guys, let me get to that 100 subscriber mark, and I'll definitely tell you what that big event is. But without further ado, let us get into some spoilers. So the first set of spoilers is from the Oko Planeswalker deck that's coming out. I didn't get to spoil this the other day, and it has been out for a second, but bear with me, there are new cards, and they're towards the end of the video. Oko's Hospitality, 3 generic, 1 green, 1 blue, instant. It is rare. Creatures you control have base power and toughness 3/3 until end of turn. You may search your library and/or graveyard for a card named Oko the Trickster, reveal it, and put it into your hand. If you search your library this way, then shuffle it. My advisors recommended I let them eat you, Oko. So, as far as this card is if you have a lot of small creatures, this card can be good. I don't think you'll see Blade Standard. It's 5 mana. I think this is definitely just one of those trademark tutor cards that you see in Planeswalker decks where they tutor up the Planeswalker of the deck. As far as having bigger creatures, this kind of makes this card suck, honestly. To tutor up your Planeswalker, but your big creatures turn into 3/3s? Not the best. I guess the only saving grace really of this is that it's an instant, so you can use it as a combat trick. But anyways. Oko's Accomplices. 2 generic, 1 blue, creature fairy, common, has flying. They function as everything from assassins to jesters in the name of the Fae King. And it is a 2/3. Bramblefort Fink. 1 generic, 1 green creature, Ophi. Never heard of that creature type. It is uncommon. Pay 8 generic mana. Bramblefort Fink has base power and toughness 10/10 until end of turn. Activate this ability only if you control an Oko Planeswalker. No matter the cruelty of Oko's jokes, he's always guaranteed the Sycophant's laughter, and it is a 2/2. Again, having that... Honestly, this would be a really good card if it wasn't... What's the word? Reliant on having an Oko Planeswalker out. Garrison Griffin. 2 generic, 1 white creature Griffin. It is a common. Flying. Whenever Garrison Griffin attacks, target knight you control gains flying until end of turn. That's going to be really good because it's going to give knights a little bit of evasion. This probably will be the only non-knight card seen in a Knight Tribal deck. The Keen-Eyed Guardians of Ardenvale are ever on alert, and it is a 2/2. Oko the Trickster. The man, the myth, the legend, Oko the Trickster. 4 generic, 1 green, 1 blue, legendary planeswalker, Oko. It is a mythic rare. It has +1. Put 2 +1/+1 counters on up to 1 target creature you control. Then the 0 ability. Until end of turn, Oko the Trickster becomes a copy of target creature you control. Prevent all damage that would be dealt to him this turn. The -7 ability. Until end of turn, each creature you control has base power and toughness 10/10 and gains trample. And then it has loyalty of 4. So, a 6 mana... Planeswalker with the loyalty of 4 when it comes down, it's not the best. The ultimate's pretty good, and I assume this is going to be the Planeswalker deck Oko. I think it's honestly probably one of the best Okos I've seen out of a Planeswalker, or I say that. Well, probably one of the best Planeswalkers I've seen out of a Planeswalker deck. in a long time. The ultimate's way better than some of the cards we have in standard right now, and that 0 ability is probably worth it. I'm trying to think of exactly a combo off the top of my head. Probably lumbering battlement would be a combo with that. A Bant lumbering battlement combo. I can see that. Mystical Dispute, 2 generic, 1 blue, instant uncommon. This spell costs 2 less to cast if it targets a blue spell. Counter a target spell unless its controller pays 3. Poor Lost Mage, your feet are on land, yet you're in over your head, aren't you? So this card's really interesting. It's a color hate card because it does give a fair amount of discount if this targets a blue spell. Not even just that it can target an instant or sorcery, it targets any spell. And so, yeah, it's a cancel. It's basically a cancel. For those that don't know, cancel is kind of the main counter to compare all counters to. This probably will be seen in board wipe. Board wipe. I said that so stupidly. Sideboarding. I'm so sorry, guys. My head is hurting because it's the second recording I've had to do. Anyways, sideboarding. It definitely will see play against, you guessed it, blue decks. They're trying to push us, in my opinion, towards monocolors. Now, I'll go over that when I go over this mechanic here in a minute, but I think that is one of the reasons why this card has even popped up. I would like to also mention it is a very much upgraded version of Quench. Once upon a time, 1 generic, 1 green, instant, rare. If this spell is the first spell you cast this game, you may cast it without paying its mana cost. Look at the top 5 cards of your library. You may reveal a creature or land card from among them and put it into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. So as far as this card, it's an instant, sure. I don't like that it's a rare, although the only reason it is because you can cast it for free if it's your first spell of the game. Other than that, I don't really like these limited tutors, which is what I call cards that say, look at the top 5 cards and pick a card. It basically is just to filter out your deck because it just replaces itself. It doesn't draw you a card. It doesn't really do too much. That's the reason. I'm sure it'll see play. I just don't like it. I'm sure it'll see play. Wicked Guardian. This card's pretty funny. So 3 generic mana, 1 black mana. Creature, human, noble, common. When Wicked Guardian enters the battlefield, you may have it deal 2 damage to another creature you control. If you do, draw a card. Some are born to greatness. You were born to scrub greatness's floors. And it is a 4/2. Love the flavor text on that. I love that they go with Wicked Guardian instead of Stepmother or anything like that. But the funniest part about this card to me is that it deals damage to another creature you control. And if it was your second one out, it can kill its counterpart. It can kill another Wicked Guardian. I don't think it's going to see play. It's 4 mana, deal 2 damage to your creature, and then on top of that, it draws you a card, sure, but it's also a weak body of 4/2, so just saying, I don't think it'll see play. Faerie Guidemother, 1 white mana, creature fairy, uncommon. Gift of the Fae, 1 generic and 1 white is the adventure. So first, the creature, flying 1/1 for 1 white mana. No one is so lost that a fairy can't find them. Aww. Gift of the Fae, on the other hand, sorcery, adventure. Target creature gets +2/+1 in games flying until end of turn. I don't like that that's at sorcery speed, but what can you ask for a common? I do think this will see play in probably in Azorius Flyers deck. Honestly, I can see that seeing play. So yeah, I think this card will see play. Enchanted Carriage. Probably the spiciest flavor text we've gotten all day. So, Enchanted Carriage, 5 generic mana, artifact vehicle. Uncommon. When Enchanted Carriage enters the battlefield, create 2 1/1 white mouse creature tokens. And it has crew 2. Tap any number of creatures you control with total power 2 or more. The vehicle becomes an artifact creature until end of turn, and it is, of course, a 4/4 when it is an artifact creature. Now, I do love that they made 2 1/1 white mouses here. I wish it would have been horses, but that kind of defeats the purpose. As far as the vehicle itself, I do love that the white mouses equal up enough to crew the vehicle. You can instantly use it as a 4/4 blocker after bringing it down, so that's nice. It's just that I don't feel like vehicles are ever going to see play for real. Vehicles kind of suck since Kaladesh. They broke the meta with this really retarded I don't even remember the name of it. This really stupid card that could be crewed by removing a loyalty counter off of a planeswalker. I don't think it was called Gifter, but I don't remember what the card was actually called. They made a couple different broken vehicles, but ever since then, vehicles have kind of been bad. I mean, even the ones from War of the Spark, the more recent of the vehicles, were kind of bad. Haven't seen really any play. Parhelion, the Mizik tank or something like that, and then that submersible sub. Just, I haven't seen them played, so yeah, that's what I'm basing that off of. Turn into a pumpkin. 3 generic mana, 1 blue mana, instant, uncommon. Return target non-land permanent to its owner's hand. Draw a card. And then this is the thing that makes me think they're pushing us towards mono colors, and that is adamant. If at least 3 blue mana was spent to cast a spell, create a food token. And of course, a food token is an artifact with 2 generic mana, and tap it, sacrifice this artifact, you gain 3 life. So this card's trying to take the place of Blink of an Eye, which was a bounce spell. For 1 generic and 1 blue, you bounce target non-land permanent. And then for its kicker cost, if you paid its kicker cost, which was 1 generic and 1 blue, you also got to draw a card. Thing is, like, I don't think it will see as much play as Blink of an Eye did, especially in the beginning, because Blink of an Eye was very useful in the beginning of its day, I should say. But it also had the utility of being only 2 mana. Now, this is have to be 4 mana. And yes, it can potentially gain you life in mono blue, which is kind of useful because mono blue doesn't really have any type of life gain. But I really don't think you'll see play. I'm being pessimistic today. I apologize. This card is actually probably a really good card. Return to nature, 1 generic, 1 green, instant. I believe that's a common. Choose 1. Destroy target artifact, destroy target enchantment, exile target card from a graveyard. Long after the magic wore off, the mice still dreamed of glorious galloping, tales of the Fae. The reason why I think this is a good card, especially for a common, is that it has the diverse ability for different types of decks. An enchantment deck, an artifact deck, a graveyard recursion deck. So, at least sideboardable. Wildwood Tracker, 1 green mana, creature, elf, warrior. It is a common. When Wildwood Tracker attacks or blocks, if you control another non-human creature, another Wildwood Tracker perhaps, Wildwood Tracker gets +1/+1 until end of turn. This one was wearing shoes made of glass. She'll be no ordinary prey, and it is a 1/1. Now, I don't really have a good reasoning for this, but I do believe that it will take the place of Llanowar Elves and possibly bring back Elf Tribal, because you're not going to be playing humans in Elf Tribal, obviously. That's what makes it Elf Tribal. But that Wildwood Tracker will actually be a good threat at the end. You know, I love that it says attacks or blocks. That gives it 2 potential chances in a cycle of turns, back to your turn, to become a visible threat. And if you give it vigilance, well, an even better visible threat. Murderous Rider, 1 generic, 2 black mana, creature, zombie, knight, rare. Swift End is the adventure, 1 generic, 2 black mana, instant adventure, destroy target creature or planeswalker, you lose 2 life. Then after the adventure or before the adventure, you can make a 2/3 lifelink zombie knight that says when Murderous Rider dies, put it on the bottom of its owner's library. So a reoccurring, potentially a murder, is how I see it, because it does say destroy target creature for 3 mana. The 2 life lost, yeah, but you can get it back with the lifelink, and because it has a decent sized butt, it could potentially actually be really good and stick around, and then when it dies, it can be reoccurred. So I do like this card. I think it would definitely see standard and see play in standard. It is a knight after all. All knights will see play in standard until they can get the deck locked down. But even after that, I think that this will be in the finalized Mardu knights, or potentially maybe even a mono black knight deck. Yeah, I do love the diversibility of planeswalkers being also targetable. I love this card. I think it's going to take the place of Vraska's Contempt on the chance of the cycle. Anyways, well, I don't off the top of my head know if Vraska's Contempt is actually going out. I believe it is. But let's continue on. Brimstone Trebuchet. It is an artifact wall for 2 generic and 1 red mana. It is a common, Defender Reach, and it has tap. Tap it, Brimstone Trebuchet deals 1 damage to each opponent. Whenever a knight enters the battlefield under your control, untap Brimstone Trebuchet, and it is a 1/3. So, the reason why I think this card is going to be really interesting, or at least fun to play with, is because if you get multiple of them out, you can start shocking your opponent in the face. But also, if there's any type of knight token, because there are tokens that are knights, build, this will give you multiple instances of untapping, tapping, untapping, tapping, and basically being able to deal a good amount of damage and still keep a 1/3, which is good because it's a 3 Defender Reach, and Mardu. That's pretty good. Pretty good. Burning Yard Trainer, 4 generic, 1 red, creature human knight. Uncommon, Trample, Haste. When Burning Yard Trainer enters the battlefield, another target knight you control gets +2/+2, and gains Trample and Haste until end of turn. For every scar I've received, I've given 10 back, and it is a 3/3. I don't really think this will see play. It's kind of anti me. It's a pump creature, and I just don't like pump creatures. If it gave +2/+2 counters and nothing else, then I'd be happy with it, but it doesn't, and it's kind of expensive for what it is. It's a 5 mana 3/3 triple haster, so I don't think I'll see play. Joust, 1 generic, 1 red, sorcery, uncommon. Choose target creature you control and target creature you don't control. The creatures you control gets +2/+1 until end of turn, and then if it's a knight, no, wait, I'm sorry. The creature you control gets +2/+1 until end of turn if it's a knight. Then those creatures fight each other. So, it's just in red mana, your creature fights target creature, but also pretty good for knights. And I would like to remind y'all that if your knight has double strike or first strike, which a lot do, that your knight will deal damage first before taking damage if the opponent's creature doesn't have first strike or double strike. Life is a tournament that rewards the bold. Sire Lane, Knight of Amberth. And then we have the next card. Jousting Dummy. 2 generic mana, artifact creature, Scarecrow Knight, and it is a common. I love the whole Scarecrow Knight thing, and then the wooden horse and the hay. This is funny. 3 generic mana, Jousting Dummy gets +1/+0 until end of turn. Okay. Don't let it fool you. Many of us got our first scars from Sire Nobody. Sire Lane, Knight of Emberth. So that's pretty funny. I love the flavor text and everything. I think this will probably see some type of play in sealed. Pretty sure. Because it's a pump. You just pump it. I had to translate this one. Ranger of Carvalhandia. Comes down for 4 mana of either green or white. And it is a creature elf knight, I believe. It is uncommon. The adventure part, which I don't have the translation for the name of that, but the adventure part is create 2 white 1/1 human tokens. And then the other one is creature tap symbol. Creatures you control get +1/+1 till end of turn. I think this card is a very interesting card. I hate how much mana it costs, to be honest, and I kind of wish it had Vigilance. While I'm on the topic of this card, I do want to also mention that if you're playing Brawl or Commander, your commander of that, if you were to use this card, needs to have both white and green in the color scheme of your commander. Otherwise, you can't play this card legally. Just a thought to keep when you're looking at hybrid mana. As far as this card is, I think you'll see play. Again, if it's an elf knights. But also because it pumps your creatures by just tapping itself. It gives all other creatures +1/+1. I think that will be really good. If you do the adventure, it will then make 2/2 human tokens. I wish those were night tokens. I hate that. But yeah, I think this will see play. Doom Foretold, 2 generic, 1 white, 1 black enchantment, rare. At the beginning of each player's upkeep, that player sacrifices a non-land, non-token permanent. If that player can't, they discard a card, they lose 2 life, you draw a card, you gain 2 life, and you create a 2/2 white knight creature token with vigilance. Then you sacrifice Doom Foretold. So this card is going to be really interesting, in my honest opinion, in Commander. Yes, it'll probably see play in Standard. But in Commander, this card is going to be very interesting because you're going to have 3 different opponents doing this at their upkeep every single time. And they're just going to get really mad at you for having Doom Foretold out. Now, granted, you're going to have to do this yourself. So if you come down to your turn and you don't have anything that can be sacrificed to Doom Foretold, well, you do, because Doom Foretold can be sacrificed to Doom Foretold. So that's basically how it is. You're going to hope that you can outlast your opponents with this card, which will make it pretty interesting and potentially bring it to a late game. Questing Beast, 2 generic, 2 green mana. Legendary creature Beast. It is a mythic rare. Vigilance, Death Touch, Haste. Questing Beast can't be blocked by creatures with power 2 or less. Stop right there. Silverleaf Champion, a card from Dominaria, I believe, was a card that was seeing a lot of play, and actually I think it cost 1 more mana than this, but was seeing a lot of play for that alone, not being able to be blocked by creatures with power 2 or less, because most tokens are 2 or less, as well as most walls. I mean, they can't block with walls, so just something to think about. Combat damage that would be dealt by creatures you control can't be prevented. I don't see that as much in Standard as I do in Commander, so that's pretty interesting. Probably playable in Commander just with that. Whenever Questing Beast deals combat damage to an opponent, it deals that much damage to target Planeswalker that player controls, and it is a 4/4. So I find that also very interesting. They're trying to keep War of Spark in check, even though it doesn't really need to be. It would have been very nice to have this in play when, I don't know, Teferi Hero of Dominaria was a thing, because then you could attack their life points and still deal damage to Teferi. But they didn't do it, so hey, you get what you get. Wishclaw Talisman. I am trying to find a way to break this card, guys. 1 generic, 1 black artifact, rare. Wishclaw Talisman enters the battlefield with 3 wish counters on it. Pay 1 generic mana and tap it. Remove a wish counter from Wishclaw Talisman. Search your library for a card, put it into your hand, then shuffle your library. An opponent gains control of Wishclaw Talisman. Activate this ability only during your turn. So, I like this card because it is a tutor, a very, very cheap tutor, a tutor in Standard for that matter, and a repeatable tutor at that. We do have Proliferate, so if you feel like helping your opponent out a lot, and also getting this talisman for yourself, it's potentially very good and very reusable. I do like that it's 3 counters, so that way you don't just get your 1 and then your opponent gets 1. You can potentially, unless they destroy it somehow, get your 1, they get their 1, and then you get another 1. So, I do like this card. I definitely think you'll see play. Definitely. Embercleave, 4 generic, 2 red mana, legendary artifact equipment, mythic rare. It has flash. This spell costs 1 less to cast for each attacking creature you control, so potentially can be played for 2 red mana. When Embercleave enters the battlefield, attach it to target creature you control. Equipped creature gets +1/+1 and has double strike and trample. That is going to be awesome, because in Mardu Knights, this card will be seen. The equip cost is 3 generic mana, but hey, what can you do? I do wish that this card would allow you to equip it at instant, but it can't. In case you don't know, equipment can only be equipped at sorcery speed. So, unless said otherwise through an enchantment that I can't think of right now. But anyways, I think this card will see play. Knights, definitely in Knights, and I just love that it's double strike and trample. Yeah, definitely see play. I wish it wasn't legendary. That's the only part I wish it wasn't legendary. Wicked Wolf, 2 generic, 2 green, creature wolf. It is a rare. When Wicked Wolf enters the battlefield, it fights up to 1 target creature you don't control. Sacrifice the food, put a +1/+1 counter on Wicked Wolf. It gains indestructible until end of turn, and then tap it. So, I see this card being in like some random food tribal deck. Just as a payoff for having food counter. I keep saying counters. Food tokens. So, definitely probably will see play in some random food token build. Blow Your House Down. Very interesting card here. 2 generic, 1 red mana, sorcery common. Up to 3 target creatures can't block this turn. Destroy any of them that are walls. I love the flavor and the spice of this card. This is a very interesting card. You think these walls will protect you. You have a dim view of the power of the wilds. Merowyn Barrow Witch. So, this card, I just don't see it seeing play for real. Yeah, a lot of people don't have more than 3 creatures at a time, so this potentially says, hey, I'm going to attack you no matter what. Or it gives you the chance of them having bad blocks if they have to block with their smaller creatures. I just don't know. I really don't know if this will see play. I don't know if walls are going to potentially become a thing, and that's why they're trying to put them in check with this card. But anyways. Witch's Vengeance. 1 generic, 2 black mana. This card is very comparable to Ritual of Soot. It is a sorcery, it is a rare. Creatures of the creature type of your choice get -3/-3 until end of turn. Now, I know you can't ask for a lot, but I wish it was -4/-4, because some creature tribals just can survive the -3/-3. Now, I imagine that they're trying to target elementals with this, because even some knights are like at least body toughness of 4. So elementals probably going to get hated on with this set, with this particular card in general. I do love the art of this. It looks like a curse the witch has put on the town, and that's so cool. That's super cool. But yeah, so I like that they're introducing the new tribe of knights, and that they're allowing us to be able to kind of handle knights a little better. Giant Killer. 1 white mana creature human peasant. It is a rare. It has an adventure called Chop Down. For 2 generic and 1 white mana, destroy target creature with power 4 or greater. And then it can become a creature, human peasant, for 1 white mana, and it is a 1/2. Pay 1 generic and 1 white and tap it, then tap target creature. What size advantage? They never even see me coming. God, I am tripping over my words today. I apologize, guys. So, what I love about this card is the diversibility of being able to destroy target creature with power 4 or greater, or just be able to be like, hey, since you're playing small tokens and I see that, I'll just start tapping down your tokens, So I love that. I love this card, and there is another white card that does tap down. I think if there's any chance of mono white coming back, this will definitely see play in mono white. And yeah, I love the art. The giant fell down. So the final and last spoiler of the day is that Twitter did this. Magic the Gathering, aka Wizards of the Coast, did a Twitter poll on Twitter, and there was a contest to see what is the name of this particular gingerbread here, the lady. And so there's 4 options: Crumbleina, Ginger, last of her batch, Fiona for some reason, and then Brain of Starch. So I thought it'd be interesting to tell y'all, I picked Ginger, last of her batch, and guess what, guys? It won. Her official name, if you haven't seen the trailer, go check it out. Ginger, last of her batch. But anyways, guys, thank y'all for watching. If you haven't seen the spoilers that have come so far, please go check the playlist below. Please comment. Let me know what you guys think about the spoilers so far. Whether you like the whole Night Tribal thing, whether you think elves might make a comeback with that one particular card. And, yeah, guys, just like, share, subscribe. This is Sneaky Narcotic, signing off.